Hello students. Now let us move on to the fourth part of biofertilizer. Here we are going to study about azospirillum as biofertilizer. How we can use this azospirillum and associative nitrogen fixers, which is being found predominantly in the rhizoplane region of plants belonging to the family Gramineaceae. So let us study about the organism azospirillum, how this can be used as a biofertilizer in detail. Azospirillum is one of a organism which is commonly found inhabited in the soil, and especially it is found in the intercellular space of the root cortex of Gramineaceous member. That is, the plants belonging to the family Gramineaceae, or it's also called as Poaceae. All these grass family, the plants belonging to the grass, even the grasses what you could see normally on lawns or whatever, even they have the roots of such plants also have an association of azospirillum. Apart from this, all our cereals crops, say for example rice, ragi, jowar, wheat, all these plants have an association of azospirillum in their root cortex, especially the rhizoplane region, the just beneath the epidermis of the root. That region, in the cortical region, you can find them growing and has an ability of fixing the atmospheric nitrogen in microaerophilic condition. So they are also called as microaerophiles, and also they have an ability of growing abundantly or luxuriously in aerobic condition also. When they have been found associated with this gramineous plants, when the oxygen concentration is less, that is in microaerophilic condition, they have an ability of fixing the atmospheric nitrogen, but they are also aerobic. That is, they are both, they can grow or proliferate both in aerobic as well as in anaerobic condition. If it is aerobic, preferably in a micro aerobic condition, that is in absence of uh, nitrogen in the media, they have an ability of growing microaerophically. And this bacteria, as I was mentioning, it is gram negative bacteria, and it is vibrio. That is, as you could see in the images in this particular slide, the microscopic view has been shown. That is SEM, scanning electron microscopy. You could see the morphology in these images. At the top you could see the vibrio, comma shaped bacteria. They are called as vibrio, as well as they are also spirillum. So the name azospirillum. They are aerobic. They are aerobic in absence of the nitrogen. They are aerobic, and also they can grow anaerobically in presence of nitrogen. 5 species. And another important thing which we have to know here is, in their cytoplasm, 70% has been filled with the lipid, that is PHB granules. You could see even in the images which it has been mentioned down. They are, they contain PHB granules inside them. That is another characteristic feature. Once again, I will repeat, this azospirillum is one of a soil bacterium, especially found in the rhizoplane region, especially just beneath the epidermis of the root of the plants belonging to the family Gramineaceae or the Poaceae. That is all grasses, plants which are grasses, especially sugarcane, even the sugarcane also, sugarcane, rice, ragi, jowar, wheat, all these plants, the roots of these plants has been found associated with this azospirillum, which helps in the fixation of atmospheric nitrogen in microaerophilic condition or in anaerobic condition. And they are gram negative vibrio or spiral shaped bacteria with PHB granules in them. 5 species has been well studied, which I have listed over here. And another important thing, apart from having the ability of fixing the atmospheric nitrogen, they are also being used as a growth promoters. That is, plant growth promoting bacteria, PGPRs. That is, they have an ability of producing various phytohormones like gibberellins, indolacetic acid, etc. And also, they promote in disease resistance and drought tolerance in some of the plants which has been inoculated with this zoospirillum. This benefits the plant get. And apart from this, one more thing which we have to note down over here is this group of organism also has some fungicidal activity. This, because of these properties, even this azospirillum has been used as PGPRs. One, nitrogen fixation, production of phytohormones, disease resistance and tolerance of the drought, and also fungistatic activity they have. That is the reason it can also be used as a growth promoter, that is growth promoting bacteria, PGPR. So how to isolate this azospirillum? As we have studied about Rhizobium azotobacter, for the isolation, first and foremost thing which we require is the sample. The sample which we can use here is, the inhabitant is soil, rhizosphere soil. Apart from rhizosphere soil, we can also better to go for the roots of some of the plants belonging to the family Graminaceae. The plants belonging to the Graminaceae, for example, rice, ragi, jowar, the roots can be collected and that can be used as a source of inoculum. Like how we used nodules for the isolation of Rhizobium. In the same way, here you can use either roots of such plants, and also we can go for the soil, rhizosphere soil. So any of this sample can be used as a source of inoculum. And the media which we can use is sodium malate semi-solid agar. Sodium malate semi-solid agar as the composition here, isospirillum medium, it is, that is sodium malate, because the important ingredient is malic acid or the malate, and it is semi-solid because the amount of the agar which we are going to add is very less. 0.17% is the agar which we are going to add. That's called as semi-solid. Why we are using semi-solid here is because azospirillum is one of an organism which is found to be microaerophilic in absence of nitrogen source. If you go through the ingredients in this azospirillum medium, the nitrogen source is lacking. Because of such condition, because of which the organism become microaerophilic, because in absence, nitrogen is required for the growth of the organism. In absence of the organism, they have to fix the atmospheric nitrogen. In order to fix the atmospheric nitrogen, nitrogenous activity should be there. For nitrogenous activity, the oxygen concentration should be less, so they become microaerophilic and form a dense pellicle mass. You could see in the images which we have shown, even the arrows over here, it forms a dense pellicle mass. The colony will be dense pellicle mass just beneath the surface of the agar. So that is the colony characteristic feature of the azospirillum on semi-solid media, malate semi-solid media. Semi-solid we are using in order for this bacteria for penetrating. The penetration of this organism is easy, so that the oxygen penetration inside the agar is less. So the microaerophilic condition, I think you know about this, how actually the aerobic organism grows, how actually the microaerophilic organism grow, how actually anaerobic organism grows on broth, we all know about it. And also we have seen the colony or the morphology of the colony or the colony characters we have seen. Aerobic organisms grows on the surface of the media. Anaerobic just form a they are grown at the base of the test tube, whereas this microaerophilic forms just grow in, not at the top or neither at the bottom. They are found in the middle region of the broth in a test tube. So those are called as microaerophilic. Here this azospirillum forms a dense spherical mass just beneath the surface of the around 1 to 2 centimeter or 3 centimeters below the surface of the media they grow. So that is one of the characteristic feature of this azospirillum. And another thing is here, indicator called as bromothymol blue is also one of the important indicator which we have added in this particular media. So when the nitrogen fixation happen, that is once the organism fixes the atmospheric nitrogen, obviously the pH increases. As the pH increases, this bromothymol blue become bluish in color. In acidic pH or at pH 7, they are greenish in color, as we have seen about this Simon citrate agar. Same principle over here. Here the nitrogen, as the nitrogen fixation happens, the ammonia production happen. Once the ammonia has been produced, the pH increases. pH, this is been indicated by the presence of an indicator called as bromothymol blue, where the media, the color of the media turns blue, indicating the presence of the azospirillum has been grown. So this is about azospirillum media, and there is also many other media also, out of which one more media is called as RC medium. So here in RC medium, the carbon source here also, as well as in sodium malate, which I had discussed previously, there also the important ingredient carbon source which we are using is malic acid. Either a sodium malate or malate or malic acid we are going to use as a carbon source. That is one of the carbon which the azospirillum, most of the species of the azospirillum can utilize. So that is the reason the carbon's important carbon source which we can use here is malic acid. And in this media, in RC media, we have we can add an indicator called as Congo red. Congo red, which is 0.25%. 0.25% Congo red is being added, like how we added in EMA, yeast extract mannitol Congo red agar for rhizobium. So likewise here also we are going to add Congo red. Here the main principle is malate is a carbon source and nitrogen free. And another important thing is the Congo red which we are going to use. Here azospirillum has an ability of utilizing or absorbing this Congo red. Because of this, the colony, you could see the reddish colony, reddish scarlet colony can be observed. Deep reddish colony can be observed on the surface. Since it is here, since uh, the Congo red, this organism has an ability of utilizing, they become reddish. That is an important characteristic feature. So in this meat, this is not actually sometimes even Bacillus or Klebsiella, whichever the organism is being found in the soil sample which we have used, can also grow in this media. So to distinguish them with Klebsiella or Bacillus, this bacteria has one important characteristic feature is they have an ability of absorbing this Congo red. Other organism may not absorb, and the colony of this bacteria is reddish, whereas they form creamish or translucent colonies, Bacillus and Klebsiella, and Bacillus, Klebsiella and others form convex colony, and the margin will be entire, whereas azospirillum form a colony which is undulate colony. The margin is undulate, and you could find on the surface of the colony, if you observe, you could find the ridges and furrows, and it is slightly dry colony. So these are some of the characteristic feature of azospirillum on RC medium. Once again I will repeat, some of the important media which we can use for the growth of azospirillum is azospirillum semi-solid medium, that is sodium malate semi-solid medium, as well as RC medium. In case of sodium malate semi-solid medium, we are using an indicator called as bromothymol blue, where once an organism has ability of fixing the atmospheric nitrogen, the pH increases, which results in blue, where the color of the media turns blue, and the azospirillum form a dense pellicle colony just below the surface of the agar, since they are microaerophilic. That is the characteristic feature of azospirillum on semi-solid medium. Whereas azospirillum on RC medium, which has got a Congo red in them, they produce red scarlet colony, that is dark red colony they produce. The margin is undulate, that is important, and also the surface of the colony is having ridges and furrows. They are dry, the colony texture is a little dry, whereas the other organism which if it grows on this media can be distinguished by the colony morphology, where usually the bacillus species or Klebsiella species, sometime even the Pseudomonas species can grow. If they grow also, the colony morphology, that is they doesn't have an ability of absorbing this Congo red, as well as the colony morphology, they are convex colony, and the margin, especially this uh, Klebsiella and all, they form a entire margin. Bacillus sometimes they produce irregular, they are irregular, so you can distinguish them from this. Another important thing is the shape of the bacteria. The bacteria of Azoospermillum, they are comma shape, or they are spiral shape, and they are gram negative and have PHB granules in them. 60% of the cytoplasm is been covered over by a PHB granules. So these are some of the characteristic feature of Azoospermillum on different media. Now let us study about the process of isolation of this Azoospermillum. So we know that this Azoospermillum, which is one of a nitrogen fixing bacteria, which is being found associated with the roots of the plants belonging to the family Graminaceae, that is the plants which are belonging to the grass family Poaceae, like wheat, ragi, jowar, sugarcane. All these are the plants which belongs to Graminaceae. So it has been found as a associative nitrogen fixer in the roots, especially in the rhizoplane region, just beneath the epidermis, in the cortical region of the root. You can find this organism growing. Anaerobic condition, it start growing and fixes the atmospheric nitrogen there. That is the important characteristic feature of this Azoospermillum. Apart from this root, we can also find this organism in the soil also. So soil or the root can be used as a source of inoculum. So if you are going to use the root as a source of inoculum, we can go for the sterilization, that is surface sterilization can be done. You can either go for surface sterilization, or even this has been found even aerobically, even in the soil. Any of this, either you can go for surface sterilization, or without surface sterilization also we can use the root bits of the plants can be used. So if you are going to surface sterilize, like how you sterilize the nodules of the rhizobium, in the same way the surface sterilization also has to be done, where you are going to wash the root bits, cut the roots into small bits, wash it thoroughly with water, and initially with 0.1% mercury chloride, followed by rinse in water, and again with 70% ethyl alcohol, and finally rinse in sterile water, and finally add into the test tube containing sterile water, 10 ml of sterile water. Crush this particular root bits thoroughly using glass rod, and you will get a suspension. That suspension you can go for serial dilution. So we can either use sterile or non-sterile root bits, or soil sample can be used as a source of inoculum. Serially dilute the sample and inoculate into the media, or in the test tube semi-solid media. If you are using semi-solid media, you can inoculate onto the 9 ml of semi-solid broth, and keep for incubation. 30 degrees Celsius is an optimum temperature which required for the growth of organism. However, some literatures also suggest that 37 degrees Celsius also, at that temperature also it grows. Better to go for 30 degrees Celsius. After 2 to 3 days of incubation, you could observe the formation of dense pellicle mass just beneath the surface of the media. So that indicates that that is one of the characteristic feature of Azoospermillum. So if you have used RC media, you can observe for the red colony, red scarlet colony, which is rough, and which is reddish in color, and which has the edge of the colony is undulate, and you could find the ridges and furrows. Such characteristic feature can be observed if you are going to use RC. If you are going to use a broad semi-solid malate agar which contain bromothymol blue, this is how it looks. Dense pellicle mass can be observed. One such dense pellicle mass has been observed once the media color of the media changes to blue, indicates that this organism also has an ability of fixing the atmospheric nitrogen, because the media which we are using, sodium malate agar, semi-solid agar, is nitrogen free. Since at nitrogen free condition this organism prefers, because they require nitrogen source, so they prefers to fix the atmospheric nitrogen. To fix the atmospheric nitrogen they require anaerobic condition, so they go for microaerophilic source. So they form such kind of dense pellicle mass as you could see in these images. And also the media color change. Why the media color change? Because the pH should have increased when the nitrogen fixation, that is ammonia production, has happened. The pH increases. Because of the increase in the pH, the color of the media turns to blue. So this indicates that the organism has been grown. Once it has grown, we can go for further characterization. You can either go for various characterization, say for example morphological characterization, biochemical characterization, and molecular techniques can also be employed for the identification of this organism till species level. And also you can make a mother culture of this and you can store, and you can also use this organism for various studies. So the storage you can do either by subculturing and storing at 4 degrees Celsius, or by lyophilization, or you can also store it in 50% glycerol, sterile glycerol, or you can overlay any of the liquid paraffin on the surface of this land and you can keep it at 4 degrees Celsius. That's our mother culture. So once the mother culture is ready, we can use it for various purpose. So these are some of the morphological and biochemical characters of the known Azospirillum species. 5 different Azospirillum species has been well known, and this is a table which suggests the method of classifying or identifying them using morphological and biochemical characters. So you have Azospirillum lipophorum, Azospirillum braziliensis, Azospirillum amazonensis, Azospirillum iracans, Azospirillum halopreferens. So the colony morphology on CR medium, Azospirillum lipophorum produces scarlet. Likewise, brazilians also produce scarlet colonies. Amazonensis, it produces pink colony. Iracans produce scarlet. Halopreferens produces pink colonies. Likewise, another important thing which we have to note down here is they also has an ability of growing on PDA. PDA also, that we have to note down, where they form white or pink colonies. However, this halo preference, they will never grow on PDA agar. And all the species produce, or the colony of all the species have raised apart from Iracans. Iracans produces flat colonies. So these are some of the colony morphological method of classifying them into different species. And coming to the biochemical characterization, Azospirillum lipophorum, Azospirillum haloferens, they have an ability of utilizing biotin. However, all the organism has an ability of utilizing a carbon source called as malate. That is why in general we are going to use malate semi-solid agar. So all these 5 species of Azospirillum has an ability of utilizing malate. And also Azospirillum lipophorum and Azospirillum halopreferens, they have an ability of utilizing glucose, whereas Azospirillum amazons and iracans, they doesn't has an ability of utilizing glycerol. However, this iracans as well as amazonens has an ability of utilizing sucrose. So these are some of the characteristic feature of the different species of Azospirillum, through which you can distinguish them into species level using morphological and biochemical characters. Once the identification has been done, the mass production of azospirillum. How to mass produce this azospirillum? Like in my previous class, how it was done for rhizobium or for azotobacter, same way. From the mother culture, make a starter culture. By increasing, that is the main intention of preparing the starter culture, is to increase the volume of our inoculum. Prepare 50 ml, then 100 ml, 1000 ml starter culture. 10% of inoculum is required for the production. For example, if we are growing around 1000 liters or 100 liters, 100 liters, 1 liter of inoculum is required. That is 1000 ml of inoculum has to be added into the 100 liters of the media. So such amount of inoculum has to be kept ready by preparing a starter culture. And how to prepare this fermenter? You can go for aerobic cultivation because luxurious growth will happen. For the process of aerobic cultivation, the presence of ammonium chloride, if the ammonium chloride has been added along with the media, hence the organism already has the ammonium or a nitrogen source in the medium, they may not go for fixing the atmospheric nitrogen. So there will be an increase, there will be a luxurious growth if ammonium chloride has been added. That we have to note down. Ammonium chloride can be added into the media for the luxurious growth. So add some amount of ammonium chloride along with malate agar, malate broth. Azospirillum broth has the composition, you know about azospirillum semi-solid medium. Here agar is not required because we are going for fermentation. Prepare the broth, enrich with ammonium chloride, sterilize and inoculate into or add into the bioreactor, that is into the fermenter, into the sterile fermenter. Once it has been added, check for the pH. 7 is the optimum pH which is required. Temperature 30 to 32 degrees Celsius. Proper agitation is required. Here we are cultivating this azospirillum in aerobic condition. That is the reason proper agitation and aeration is required. 5 to 6 days is required for the growth of the azospirillum, and the quality check has to be done if any contamination happen. That is, it has to be plated out onto the respective special media and check for any contamination. And also we have to grow this azospirillum till it reaches 10 to the power of 8 cells per ml. That is approximately 1 crore of the cells in 1 ml of the broth. If it reaches that time, the organism is ready for harvest. So harvesting can be done once it reaches 10 to the power of 8 cells per ml. At the same time, we can keep the carrier base also ready. Here we can go for either liquid biofertilizer or a carrier based. Both the images I have put, either a liquid or a solid base. If it is a liquid, it is just the broth, whatever has been prepared in the bioreactor, that we are going to fill in such kind of container aseptically. That is liquid biofertilizer. If it is a solid, that is carrier base, we can use the solid base, peat or lignite or charcoal, even farmyard manure, and farmyard manure with soil, finely sieved soil, or soil with peat. Any of this combination can be used for the preparation of the carrier base. The carrier base before mixing with that of the harvested culture, it has to be finely sieved, and it has to be sterilized in appropriate temperature and duration. Once it has been sterilized, it has to be cooled properly, and finally it has to be mixed with the azospirillum which has been grown in a bioreactor. Once it has been mixed thoroughly, it has to be dried, or just it has to be spreaded on a polythene sheet in shade. Drying, it is not that it should not have any humidity inside them. 50% of the humidity should be there in a biofertilizer carrier base. So such at that particular condition, it has to be packed in a polythene bag, a sterile polythene bag. That also is very much important. The sterile polythene bag can be sterilized by UV radiation, or any other methods can be used for sterilization of such polythene bags, and it has to be packed, and it can be stored at 4 degrees Celsius, and finally it has to be dispatched. So these are the different steps which are involved in the production, mass production of azospirillum. That is one important thing which we have to remember here is, during the growth of this azospirillum in bioreactor, better to add ammonium chloride. Ammonium chloride is better, so that there will be a luxurious growth of azospirillum, which is under aerobic condition in presence of ammonium chloride. The in liquid medium there will be a luxurious growth. In semi solid broth or in medium, um, it forms a dense pellicle mass in absence of any nitrogen source. That we have to remember. So what are the significance of this azospirillum? Apart from nitrogen fixation, azospirillum also has various other significance, as I had discussed before. These azospirillum species also has an ability of producing various biochemically active substances like vitamins, nicotinic acid, indole acetic acid, gibberellins, the hormones, the phytohormones, for the better development of the plant, as well as for the growth of the plant, and for the better development of the roots of the plants, and the germination of the seeds is improved because of the addition of this azospirillum biofertilizer. And also various literatures or various research suggests that this azospirillum also imparts, that stimulates the growth, and also imparts the green color, which is the characteristic feature of the healthy plant. And also they help in utilizing NPK as a the nutrients uptake will be improved because of the usage of azospirillum biofertilizer. And also it also increases the plumpness and succulence of the fruits, and also increases the protein percentage in the cereals. So these are some of the significance of azospirillum. Apart from nitrogen fixation, because of this ability, they are also being called as PGPRs. And the table which I have represented here indicates the percentage of the amount of nitrogen fixed in milligrams by 1 gram of the substrate. So this is the table: nitrogen fixing capacity of the azospirillum in roots of several plants, and the amount of nitrogen fixed by them, which varies from different plants. So this is the significance of azospirillum apart from nitrogen fixation. Then coming to the application of this azospirillum biofertilizer, how it has been applied onto the field. As in case of other biofertilizer, here also seed treatment can be done. That is, you are going to make a slurry of azospirillum with water, uh, or we can also add some substances which improves the ability of sticking of this azospirillum onto the surface of the seed. That is, using a sugar solution or using gum arabica can also be done for better sticking of the azospirillum onto the surface of the seed. That is seed treatment. That is, you can soak the seed in a slurry of azospirillum biofertilizer overnight, and about 2 kgs of inoculant is required per hectare. Seedling treatment, again you are going to, whichever the plants we are going to sow as a seedling, say for example paddy is being, usually from nursery we will get the paddy, and we are going to sow it onto the field. So if you are using such seedling for transplanting, 1 kg of azospirillum inoculant is mixed with 40 liters of water. You mix 1 kg of azospirillum biofertilizer with 40 liters of water and make a slurry. And the roots of the seedling which we are going to transplant onto the field has to be dipped in such slurry for around 15 to 20 minutes, and you can use it for sowing. That is called as seedling treatment. Top dressing, that is you are going to sprinkle or you are going to add this azospirillum over the surface of the soil. That's called as top dressing. In this method, 2 kg of azospirillum inoculant is mixed well with 20 kg of farmyard manure. Remember, farmyard manure, that is the compost which is been usually prepared in rural areas, that is farmyard manure, which consists of all these household vegetables, rotten vegetables, as well as cow dungs. Mixture of all those has been composted, that's called as farmyard manure. So such for 20 kgs of farmyard manure plus 20 kg of soil plus 3 kgs of azospirillum is mixed thoroughly, and it is broadcasted throughout the field by top dressing. So that is called as treating the soil. You are going to treat the soil or by adding the method of adding azospirillum onto the soil. That's called as top dressing. So these are the 3 different methods which we can use for applying this azospirillum uh, as a biofertilizer. One is treating the seed, other one is seedling treatment, that is you are going to treat the seedling or you are going to dip the roots of the seedlings which you are going to sow onto the field inside the slurry of azospirillum biofertilizer, or you can mix the azospirillum biofertilizer with farmyard manure and soil, mix it thoroughly, and you can broadcast all over the field. That's called as top dressing. So these are the different methods which we can employ for application of azospirillum biofertilizer. And also I have given the link of some of the websites, so where you can watch how actually we can go for seed treatment, seedling treatment, and what is this top dressing and all in detail in those documentary. Thank you. And my next video lecture is on algae, blue-green algae, how this blue-green algae can be used as biofertilizer. Let us study that in detail in my next video lecture. Thank you.